something we boasted about during most of the preseason was injuries. Health of the team's most important thing coming in. And I think for the first time as Washington football team fans heading into a season, we were completely healthy with the exception of Curtis Samuel. But not only did we lose our franchise signal caller for at least this season, but he might be done in the National Football League in general. Ryan Fitzpatrick gone in week 1 for the Washington football team. Welcome to the Sidelines Washington Podcast, brought to you by the Sidelines Sports Network. I'm, of course, your host, Parker Hamlett, and host of NFL Operations. Rough day, rough evening overall for Washington football team fans. Defense kind of stays at home. You got poop water, rainwater raining down on fans, and the Washington football team fell to the Los Angeles Chargers 20-16. Of course, I am joined by my co-host and a man who was there just tearing up his Poke Bowl, which I just had never even heard of, Rio Robinson. Rio, if you could use one word to describe Sunday's loss and our first post-game pod for the 2021 season, what would it be?
Karma. Because for some reason, the karma that surrounds FedEx Field, the football gods will not allow us to have a quarterback. Even if you don't like the quarterback or think they're the greatest thing, it's just like the football gods just say, no, you cannot have him. Like, I'm not going to act like Fitzpatrick and Aaron Rodgers, but him getting hurt in the first game of the season, if that's not the most Washington Redskins football team shit I've ever heard of, like, I don't know what it is. Like, we're sitting here like, oh, maybe this is the year we're going to get 17 of one quarterback. Football God said, no, sir.
He said, no, sir. And I say franchise signal caller. I don't say that as in I think he's a franchise quarterback for the team, but there was a certain mystique.
He was the guy.
Yeah, exactly. There was a mystique of Ryan Fitzpatrick joining the Washington football team. He really, a lot of people thought that he could, get us over the hump and be that veteran leadership that we needed at the quarterback position. And it's gone in the blink of an eye.
Gone.
Already.
And we didn't even get a chance to see it.
Not even a whole half. Not even a whole half.
Oh, my God. That ain't the most Washington shit I've ever heard of in my fucking life. And oh my God.
It was a draining loss. I know it's week 1. And, as I said on your show, can't really overreact. It's fool's gold week, as you said yourself. But at the end of the day, it was crushing. And I'll say the defense kind of showed a similar performance, kind of reminiscent of the last time they were at the field when they played against Tampa Bay. It was competitive. They kept us in the game for the most part. At the end of the day, I think overall we can say that the unit kind of just didn't show up. And you saying that it's the most Washington Redskins week 1 of all time, I can't really disagree with you. And, we haven't had a quarterback stay upright and play an entire season for the Washington football team since 2017. But there is plenty to discuss. Of course, this is the Sidelines Washington Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. If you're listening to us in the audio realm, leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a comment on what you thought about Sunday's game. Social media, you can find us on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Click the link tree in all of our bios. I'll help you navigate through all of that. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Homage. Use promo code SSNSports21 for 20% off your next purchase. But, let's stay with the most important position on the field and certainly the biggest storyline coming out of Sunday's loss to the Chargers, and that is the quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick finished the day, I'd say the half, 3 for 6, 13 yards, 56 QBR, I think, something along those lines. But as Rivera said, Rio, in his presser after the game, Ryan was efficient, but they cannot afford to miss their assignments, and they cannot afford to let their quarterback get hit as much as he got hit. What did you think of Ryan's very short, probably maybe last performance for the Washington football team on Sunday against the Chargers?
Oh, my God. Yeah, I definitely agree with the maybe last part because they're downplaying it. They're trying to give some type of optimism on the point. 38-year-old quarterback with a hip injury, that sounds like a kiss of death to me. A hip subluxation, whatever the fuck I pronounce that word. I'm not going to attempt to right now. Like, I don't think he's coming back. A position that is predicated off hip movement, footwork, and that type of I don't see him coming back. Also, there wasn't enough to give a real opinion because when he was in, he was either getting hit or the receivers were dropping the passes, like De'Ami Brown on third down on the first drive. He played like shit, by the way. But there wasn't enough Fitzpatrick for me to actually give an opinion on it. I like how he gave De'Ami a chance on a deep ball that was called a pass interference, but we didn't really see anything. Also, Scott, stop running the fucking ball on first and second down every possession. That shit is becoming way too predictable, and I'm one of your advocates. I ride for you, Scott Turner, because I know it must suck having to game plan where you can't even get 2 back-to-back games from one quarterback. That must be hard as shit.
And that's why I empathize with Scott Turner, and he's not my go-to because it's so hard for him to form any consistency or build any identity as a young play caller in the National Football League when you're constantly dealing with this turnover at the position. And I agree with you, Rio. There's not enough from Ryan Fitzpatrick on Sunday to make any judgment off of him. And to me, that's what makes this worse. So had he played the season, eventually gotten benched or something along the lines, or he just would have got played out of his job, or they decided to go with Kyle Allen or Taylor Heinicke, that would have been a much more convenient situation for the Washington football team because at least we know. But now we might never know what happened with Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Burgundy and Gold. And, maybe that's for the best. We don't know. It's all going to depend on how a certain other signal caller comes in and plays. And I'm glad that you weren't going to try to pronounce whatever he's got. I wasn't going to do that either. But it is a 6 to 8 week recovery for Ryan Fitzpatrick. So that's a little bit more short term than a lot of people thought. A lot of people thought he was out for the year. A lot like you, I still kind of think he will probably be out for the year. The older you get, you mess your hip up. That's definitely not good at long-term implications on your health. And like you said, footwork is a key factor in his situation in regards to his mobility and the injury. And that's definitely something to monitor. And Taylor Heinicke said at the podium as well, that was the 3rd time Fitz told him that he's ever come off the field in his almost damn near 20-year career, part of the 2005 draft class, for Christ's sake. It's absolutely crazy. But I got to ask you, because it's something that's been kind of circumventing. Do you take any stock in this water park story? Because a lot of people are going back and forth about it. I know you heard the caller on JP and Mitch.
Oh, my God. Does this type of shit only happen here? Like, what the fuck, man? Like, dude can't even get 24 hours post a serious injury, and some fuckers calling the radio station. Well, I heard Ryan Fitzpatrick hurt his hip in the summertime. I seen it live. He was at Waterworks, and he lost the second slide, the blue one, and hurt his hip, and he blamed it on the football game so he could still get paid. Shut the fuck up. Like
it makes any difference. Like it makes any difference.
Oh, my fucking goodness. I swear to God, that only happens in this fan base. What the fuck, man?
Now, it was a real place. For those who didn't listen and didn't catch the call, someone called in and reported that allegedly Ryan Fitzpatrick, I forget exactly where it was, but they ended up checking all the information. Apparently, it's a real place. Ryan Fitzpatrick was with his 14 kids at the water park earlier in the week. He takes them there apparently multiple times a week, like that's any of our fucking business. And apparently, he got on one of the faster slides where the kids were on the slower side, and he apparently, nicked his hip and got hurt there. And apparently, our time Sunday was the second time seeing it happen. I take absolutely no stock in these reports. And at the end of the day, it's irrelevant. It doesn't change anything, or it doesn't even remotely alter how the Washington football team deals with this injury. Like, not even a little bit. It's almost irrelevant. I just thought it was a knee slapper. Because like you said, Rio, it's shit that only happens in our fan base. And, of course, today, as you've seen, Rio, we got all these Twitter GMs telling us who the next quarterback of the Washington football team should be. He had RG3 wanted to come back for the Burgundy Gold.
That's fucking absurd. I wish he could just shut the fuck up and just be great at TV, because he has nothing left on a football field to give to anyone.
Well, someone who's not ready for TV yet, and somebody that I have a feeling you've changed your stance on, is one Cameron Newton. What are your overall thoughts on possibly bringing him to the Burgundy and Gold? And do you think this is a match made in heaven, or should they stick with who they got in this room? Because that's the report as of right now, is that they are sticking with who they have in the room.
I don't think there's any options that are a match made in heaven unless Aaron Rodgers shows up at the door right now. That's not happening. Hopefully
he's ready
next year. Fingers crossed. But I have definitely changed my stance on the Cam situation. I would sign him right now. He's better than Kyle Allen and Taylor Heinicke for sure. And I trust his durability more than Taylor Heinicke's, because he at least has the body to handle that shit. Taylor Heinicke starting for the rest of the year means one thing to me. We're going to see Kyle Allen. And if we're going to see Kyle Allen, Cam shouldn't be on the streets and Kyle Allen is starting for anyone. So, yes, I would call Cameron Jarrell Newton right now. The team came out today and said they're not interested in signing more quarterback. Then we signed Kyle Shermer to the practice squad. I don't think there's anything there. And I hope Heinicke relishes in this moment, because as a journeyman who was in college last year, you're not going to get another opportunity like this. You could solve our quarterback position for years to come if you go out and ball. But I'm not gonna get it twisted and think that that's actually gonna happen. I think he's electric. I think he's fun. His improv is ridiculous, but I'm not sure he'll be durable enough. And some of these ducks he throws are gonna turn into interceptions at some point. The sample size is so small. We haven't been able to see the bad from him yet. Whoever you put behind center, I want them to succeed here. Please, Heinicke, just be good. Win the game. And I wish you could have got the ball back with 4 minutes left to win the game. But, we give up 3rd and fucking 16s against our own 12. So,
Oh, you already know we're going to get into that. I wanted to punch the TV. And I know you were at FedEx Field Sunday being Mr. Fan Ambassador, Mr. Season Ticket Holder. I heard reports, and I've seen multiple reports on social media. I want to ask you about this, about fans cheering when Fitzpatrick went down.
Oh, my God.
Is that – how was that live? And that's in very poor taste, no matter how you feel about the quarterback.
I was gonna give that one for my rant of the week, but fuck it, we're here right now, so we can go for it. Oh my God, fan etiquette. I don't give a fuck how you feel about the backup quarterback. I don't care that he's the apple of your eye. I don't care that you wear your Legend of Heinicke shirt every night. Your starting quarterback is on the ground and injured. You do not start cheering the fucking backup's name on your home opener for the world to see while Fitzpatrick's old ass is laying there injured. They were people cheering like, yes, we're getting Heinicke. Like, dude, let him get off the fucking field first. What is wrong with you people? Like, we like to shit on Philly's fan base. And some of these shit-ass fan bases, we're becoming one. We're fighting ourselves in the stands. We're fighting our own fans. And we're fucking cheering while our starting quarterback is hurt because our own personal narrative and opinions mean more than the success of the team. That shit is selfish. That shit is weak. And that's some casual fan bullshit. I hate it. I hate that I had to be subjected to that shit. And I hate that all these Chargers fans got to see, oh, these dudes suck. Like, what are they cheering for their quarterback being injured for?
I mean, they pretty much thought we were laughing stock. I saw that you and Josh were kind of taking screenshots of other, Chargers fan stories. I mean, they show up to FedEx Field and what is supposed to be a, an upbeat year, Rio. Everything's kind of trending upward. And we got toilet waters, everywhere. We're fighting other fans. We're cheering for our starting quarterback to get hurt. And like you said, bullshit legend of Taylor Heinicke aside, at the end of the day, I think even though we weren't exactly a pro Fitzpatrick podcast, we'd come around to the idea of giving him a chance to succeed with the Washington football team. You kind of follow his career, right, Rio? And you look around and how many chances did he really get to come in and be the guy? And like he told Taylor, this is the 3rd time he's ever come off the field. He never gets hurt. He's always been extremely durable. If you talk about Taylor being a journeyman, Ryan is the journeyman. So no matter how you feel about him or his story, I think a lot of people are rooting for him. And I think for us all to sit around and call ourselves collectively fans of the Washington football team, you should not cheer for stuff like that. So that's some low tier garbage ass bullshit that we just should not deal with as a fan base. And, I commend Chris Bryant for kind of coming out and speaking on that. People could say, oh, you rah fans. How are things ever going to change? How are things ever going to change?
That's low IQ fandom. Like, fuck your personal narratives and opinions. They do not. If you really are cheering for that to the detriment of the team, you're a fucking sorry ass fan, and we don't want people like you at the stadium. Like, that's fucking dumb. Stay home. Stay at home and do that shit from your weak ass living room. What I gotta say on it. We can call this my rant of the week if we need to, because that's fucking nonsense.
Of course, that is Rio's Rant of the Week, brought to you by Homage. Use promo code SSN Sports 21 for 20% off your order at homage.com. Today, Rio, I couldn't agree with you anymore, man. And Kyle Allen being inactive made it so much worse. So Taylor Heinicke comes in, and he's got all these durability issues. He comes in down 13-9. I will say Taylor made the best of it. He seems like he's done a better job of preparing himself and bulking up in the offseason. Finished today 11 for 15, 122 yards, 119 passer rating. Has that familiarity with the offense, which definitely makes you feel more confident going into Thursday night's matchup. We'll both be there for. Like you said, they saw Kyle Shermer to the practice squad. I don't know why. I thought there was some correlation there with Pat Shermer. I was like, all these damn NFL kids are getting too many chances because of their dads. What were your overall thoughts on Taylor Heinicke's performance? He had that cool little shuffle pass, showed a lot of mobility, averaged about 6 yards a carry. And, didn't fare too bad, through the air as well. To me, he definitely looks like he's poised to have at least a decent outing going into Thursday. Some solid momentum, right?
Shit, he better have a decent outing because we better not go 0-2 to start the season and have to go to Buffalo in week 3. But I liked it. I mean, he wasn't great. I'm not gonna act like some of our fans who are, oh my God, he's the fucking greatest thing that's ever touched a Washington uniform. But he looked good. He's fun. He's electric. He's like our own Kirkland brand Tony Romo. Our little great value brand Tony Romo. He's the poor man's version of that. The stories are similar. Some people like dare say Kurt Warner, which is it kind of gives me like, what? Come on, man. Like, don't do that. Let's not compare journeyman guy to Hall of Famer. Like, we're not gonna do that. We'll say he's our poor man's Tony Romo because he can make the throws. He also throws ducks. His first 2 passes look like shit. The first 2 passes he came out and threw looked like shit. And that Terry catch was amazing. Bro.
Oh my God.
Like
the offense in general. The offense in general had some sparks for sure. And
we had some. That big Gibson run in the first half. Oh my God, that got me out of my seat.
I got everybody out of their seat.
Lose my damn voice. That shit was electric. He looks good. He looks the part of a real running back, except for one glaring mistake that we're definitely gonna get to. That shit started to clear the stadium out, man.
like you said, 20 carries, 90 yards, I think, 4.5 yards per carry. He almost doubled Austin Eckler's performance on Sunday. Antonio Gibson looked great, looked poised to be RB1. But with that fumble, Washington football's percentage of winning went from 67 to 54. And like you said, Rio, to me, it was the turning point. It took all of the air out of the building. You put the Chargers, who were already a great offense throughout most of that game, inside their own 10-yard line, and Justin Herbert's he's just going to eat. He's going to rip you apart. We all know who Justin Herbert is. He did nothing but prove that all that stuff coming in from last year was not overhyped.
So
Justin
good.
Herbert, he is exactly
so fucking good.
He's got Mahomes shaking in his boots, but you'll never hear them say that. That is going to be, like I said, a matchup that I'm looking forward to for the next decade. And like I said, the field position and just the rest of the offense in general. Like you said, Dami looked like garbage. It kind of makes you wonder how much of a pedestal we put him on. I feel like he didn't really get that proper look deep downfield. I don't think Fitz got the ball quite to him. As far as like misdirection, screen, stuff like that, Dami just didn't look like he was in a favorable position, or he just didn't perform, one of the two.
I would generalize it and say our rookie class looked like shit yesterday. Like
all of them, top to bottom.
put that whole rookie class on the we did not play good at all yesterday list.
Rivera called it a baptism by fire for guys like Samuel Cosmi. I think that's probably what we'll call this episode. Cosmi had a 15.0 pass block grading, then an 85 run block grading. I think that was one of the only good gradings I actually saw for any rookie player for the Washington football team yesterday. Offensive line in general just looked awful outside of Eric Flowers. Brandon Scherf's $18 million ass couldn't stop getting flags to save his life. The undrafted free agents.
Oh, my God. Don't get me started on the guard. I'm sick of it. I'm sick. Oh, my God. He fucked that whole drive up where we had to kick the 50-yard field goal. Like, what are you doing?
Like we said, dude, context matters. And small shit like that from all pro players in your team simply should not happen. And you got younger guys who are busting their ass, like Jared Patterson got a couple carries, looked pretty good in that. I was very surprised. I don't know about you. J.D. McKissick got almost no work yesterday whatsoever.
I did not understand that shit at all. I'm sitting there like, yo, McKissick don't even got his helmet on. What don't we know?
I mean, he was a top 2 receiver for your team last year and very involved in the offense. I understand
80 catches.
Yeah, 80 catches in nothing week 1, nothing. It just felt like the coaching staff was just completely unprepared coming into this game. There were a couple bright spots. Logan Thomas showing that he is that guy. Top 15 tight end in the National Football League. Made one of the better catches
15
on Sunday.
Top 10. Might be top 7.
And I'll tell you what, it completely brought the Washington football team back in that game when Taylor Ham connected. And I want to say the third quarter. I mean, it absolutely lit the place on fire. But, let's get to the defense. Something we kind of dipped in already, Rio. Forcing – I think one turnover on the day. I think that they couldn't quite get a couple fumbles that happened.
We're gonna call that a turnover because that was not a fucking fumble.
Yeah, was not. I mean, we expected Joey Bosa, Derwin James to be menaces for the Los Angeles Chargers. All that was expected. What baffles me, Rio, when I would put all the emphasis on, because we're not gonna talk about everything, but there was an instance where Casey Toohill, Tim Settle, Matthew Ioannidis, James Smith-Williams were your starting defensive linemen in the red zone, game on the line. That should never happen. Two of your best pass rushers, Montez Sweat, Chase Young, were not on the field in crucial passing downs for the Los Angeles Chargers. And I understand Rivera's logic with 7 straight plays. You got to cycle all these people out, sub packages, personnel. Use whatever excuse you want, but your two best pass rushers not being on the field in vital downs like that, that's unacceptable, right?
Very unacceptable. And my biggest GOAT of the day is Jack Del Rio. He was doing, I like to compare what he did yesterday to when Sean McVay starts to get too cute offensively.
Ooh, I like that.
You stop trying to be the smartest fucking person in the room. I don't know what these rotations were. Why is Cam Curl so good and he played 37 snaps yesterday?
And it's only on crucial downs. It's only in the most high pressure instances in the games when these rotations are happening. I mean, it's documented. Nikki Javala was talking about it herself. I don't get that.
I don't understand it. I see Chase coming off the field late in the fourth. I'm sitting here are these dudes out of shape? What the fuck is happening? Because we're at the game is on the line, and I'm watching star players on this elite defense on the sideline. Jamin Davis can't play on third downs. Concerning. I see us lining up Cole Holcomb in front of Keenan Allen multiple times. What the fuck are we doing, Del Rio? What are we doing, bro?
And what did Keenan Allen look over and tell Chase Young when Chase Young was subbed on the sideline? If y'all are playing man, you're going home.
It's over.
It was that easy for them. That's how predictable Jack Del Rio's defense was. And it was very similar, Rio, to that playoff game. I mean, Todd Bowles and them just it was just too much of the same. A lot of the same things we saw in last season. They've had all off seasons to kind of work these kinks out. And I'm glad you brought up Cam Curl. When he was on the field, we're talking about the defense being elite. Cam Curl looked elite. Cam Curl was an absolute menace in this game. And him and William Jackson III, who I'd probably give the other game.
William Jackson.
Oh, my God. They're switching off in the middle of the field. They've already got that just top 5 chemistry, breaking everything up. It's there.
Talk about being a gamer. He said, y'all can miss me with all that practice. This dude is legit. He didn't have a perfect game, but he had a great game yesterday. That pick, he showed so much anticipation. He knew exactly where the ball was going to be. It was beautiful. And it was in zone defense when he did it, too.
And it didn't matter who was in front of him, what the situation was. William Jackson III showed he was worth literally every dime. And it was kind of contradictory of what we were used to, because throughout most of the offseason, it was, he's getting mossed in practice. You're not hearing people really talk about him. That's not a bad thing. William Jackson is the real deal. William Jackson, people call him a Ronald Darby replacement. I think he's proved he's eons above that. An upgrade. And Landon Collins coming back, played 82% of snaps yesterday. That was a good thing to see. 52% of those snaps in the box. Didn't really see him making much noise. What are your overall thoughts of Landon Collins in his first performance back from injury?
I'll say he looked explosive early, but I don't know. I seen him look like he was getting his hamstring stretched out in the second half. And I don't know. I don't think he's hurt, but, he didn't look as explosive in the second half as he did in the first, but he looked good for the most part. I have no complaints with our safeties. All 3 safeties look good. McCain looked good, who took majority of the work at free safety, and Curl looks explosive as hell. I don't know what he did to Jack Del Rio because he was not on the field. Cole Holcomb got a lot of snaps. We can't cover a tight end still. We made Jared Cook look like fucking Antonio Gates yesterday. I don't understand, bro. I promise you, me and you can suit up and catch passes on our defense. And don't get me started on what the fuck Bostic was doing on that 3rd and 16.
You beat me to it. If you want to tell, you said Jack Del Rio is your biggest GOAT. If he was listening to this and he needs to hear one number that proves that case and argument, 14 for 18 on 3rd down for the Los Angeles Chargers. That's an absolutely unacceptable number for a top 5 elite defense. So Jack Del Rio, who doesn't really show up in big games in general, and it's well documented, you got to do better, man. And, some of you kind of put a little bit of a light on, and I definitely want to go to it because to me it was the position group on this defense that got absolutely finessed for 4 quarters was the linebacking core. As far as snaps played, Cole Holcomb leads the team in tackles 11. I'm sure that's a bright spot. but he was asked to do way too much in coverage, and he suffered because of it, and this defense suffered because of it. The Washington football team suffered because of it. Yeah. Jamin Davis kind of not really getting a lot of practice, not a lot of snaps in general in this game. Everybody knows how I feel about Jamin Davis, so I'm just going to kind of keep it bottom line. He got 56% of the snaps yesterday and didn't really show me much. Kind of came through, made a couple plays, but overall, they're trying to kind of integrate him, ease him in. A lot of people feel like he's not ready yet. I think today,
look, man,
yesterday definitely showed
it was
that.
Okay. It's okay to say it was a shit debut, man. Like, listen, our rookie class, y'all got a long way to go before we have the verdict on your career. It was not a good debut for any of you fuckers. Like, I love all you guys. That was not it. You have a chance to make up for it on Thursday. And I'll tell you what, if we don't get pressure on Daniel Jones with that shit-ass defensive line, offensive line, then I don't know what to tell you, because Chase Young and Montez Sweat wanted no parts of Rashawn Slater yesterday. None. He kicked both of their asses every time. All day. Just bullied them. Bully ball. And Allen and Payne did not get any pressure up front. The only pressure we saw on the interior was from Matthew Ioannidis, who has come back to prove that he is the best defensive interior lineman on the team. But they get all the glory and all the recognition.
Because of that draft status, man. And, staying on the linebackers for one more minute before we move on, Bostic, 84% of the snaps. He was easily the sole factor in that huge 3rd and 16 pickup for the Los Angeles Chargers. And Rivera kind of made a comment about this, because that, if you saw the play art and saw how the play progressed, I know you were there live, you had him kind of go to the flats, left the middle of the field wide open. Herbert and Allen have that rapport. They connected, big 3rd and 16 pickup for the Los Angeles Chargers, in my opinion, kind of iced the game. You can't put John Bostic in those situations. You just can't. I mean, he'll rack up tackles for you all day long, but as far as coverage as a linebacker, nobody outside of maybe the potential of Jamin Davis appears to be able to cover the football in any vicinity. My
biggest question was, what the fuck was he looking for in the flats? It's 3rd and 16. What are you doing?
Behind
what
you.
Are you fucking looking at?
And he's a veteran. God. Like, this should not be something you should have to say to him. He's been around the league. He was somebody that played for the Pittsburgh Steelers for a while. Everybody knows the kind of standard those guys are held to. Like you said, not an overall good day for the rookies whatsoever, man. Benjamin St. Juice getting completely cooked. Kendall Fuller getting benched. That's another thing that a lot of people aren't really talking about coming out of game day. Jalen kind of had to humble me about that a little bit. I did a little bit more homework on it.
Yo, Kendall Fuller looked fucking awful yesterday. Like, he looked really, really bad. Like, he didn't do anything good yesterday. Like, he missed tackles. He looked out of place. Not even their speedsters. Any receiver that lined up in front of him won. It looked really bad. He looked lost, and that's not what you want to see. Like, let the rookies look like that. I don't want to see my veteran $10 million a year corner looking like that. I don't know what's going on with Fuller, but I don't know.
The rookies for Los Angeles Chargers certainly look good. Like you said, Rashawn Slater, a lot like he did in college, absolutely kicking Chase Young's ass. This defensive line looking pedestrian as usual. I think Montez Sweat and Jonathan Allen were the only people that got to the quarterback yesterday, but a lot of people would argue, I heard Manny talking about on his show, a lot of those were kind of fluky sacks. Not like they were getting disruption up front. This Los Angeles Chargers offense was a very well-oiled machine.
Yeah, they were Ryan Kerrigan sacks.
Yeah, Ryan Kerrigan sacks. That's the perfect way to put it. I got to ask, Rio, was the defense just that bad, or was that offense just that good? Because this is one of the better quarterbacks we're going to play in the 2021 season.
I think it was a combination of both. But for one, Justin Herbert is as legit as I've seen. I've seen him up close. Dude is huge. Dude is as tall as Chase Young. He's cool. He's chill. He looks the part. He checks all the boxes. I know for some people you say, oh, I want to see more before I get – no, listen. He's it. He's it for them. They're not going to need – I'm going to pray for his health, because that's the only thing that could be to his detriment if he gets hurt, because he does everything well, bro. He does – like, I wish the football gods would ever bless us with a talent like that at quarterback.
And, this certainly does not help a certain conversation, one that you were in favor of not selecting Chase Young and selecting the quarterback. Revisionist history, of course, but this did anything, and I mean anything,
seeing it up close.
That argument did not help that argument at all.
Quarterback means more than anything, because no matter how bad we played yesterday, a quarterback can make the difference, man. A quarterback can make the difference. Like, they only scored 20 points yesterday, but you know what they did do? They walked up and down the field on us all day long. We had that same ass bend not break defense, and that's not gonna do it versus elite teams, man.
You can slow them down, but they're eventually going to find a way to the end zone. And let's talk about how they started the game, for God's sakes. 10 plays, 5 minutes. They marched right down the field. Herbert was in complete command. I was surprised that they didn't just run away with it after that for how easy they made it look coming off rip. And I could just feel all the energy sucked out of FedEx just with how easily they marched down the field.
Everybody wanted to tell us how, oh, let's not be worried. They set their starters all season. They're going to be rusty. Ha! Ha ha! Not the case, buddy. This guy Herbert is real. This guy made them look like a machine. First of all, none of our defenders wanted to tackle Austin Eckler, and Herbert got whatever he wanted, and he had all day. He had time to go check his fucking fantasy lineup, eat some lunch, come back into the stadium, and then throw the ball because we had no pressure on him all day. We offered no resistance up front, and outside of a couple players in the secondary, everybody on that defense gets a goat because they look like shit yesterday.
100%. That offense is great, but that defense, simply put, just did not show up. And you could pin it on Jack Del Rio, but you should also pin it on all these superstars we have on the defense that everybody hyped up throughout most of the offseason that were supposed to show up week one.
Quotations up.
Yeah, and make this a contest because it just felt like Herbert and them eventually kind of getting on that offensive momentum. It felt inevitable. I felt like we could bend, but we could bend but not break. But at the end of the day, Herbert, they were firing on all cylinders, and that's why I just could not pick us to win the week one matchup against them. Good news is that we have a little bit of a break between that and our next elite quarterback, which get Daniel Jones this week, and of course we're going to talk about this week's matchup in a couple days. Thursday night, prime time against the New York Football Giants, NFC East matchup. A couple more things I want to touch on about Sunday, though. I thought special teams overall pretty good. Hop 3 for 4.
DeAndre Carter
missed the long field goal, and that's what I want to talk about the most. Tressway looked great, of course, as he does every Sunday, but DeAndre Carter is going to take one in the house.
He's decisive. He catches them, and he can fucking fly. He looks good in that number 1, too. That shit clean as hell.
That's one time the number rule really didn't bother me. He looks like he was born to wear it, and he kind of feels like a dirty little secret for this coaching staff coming into the season at kick return. I'm excited to see how that turns out, but like we said, moving on, can't get too down on ourselves. It's week one. It is what it is. We fell short, lost our quarterback, but you got to roll with Heinicke. He's earned the opportunity to at least prove himself, Heinicke as the intern quarterback of the Washington football team, which I like to call him. And I saw somebody else called him that as well. He is 49 for 78, 565 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. It's always just been an issue of durability. And Thursday night, he gets the chance as the 0-1 football team takes on the 0-1 Giants in a battle of the NFC East. As I said, only one team in the NFC East going into week 2 has a win, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles, as they defeated or blew out the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday.
Hey, I don't know if you saw any of the highlights to that game, but I think I need to offer an apology to Jalen Hurts because that man looked fucking phenomenal.
Look, man, people have been sleeping on him at every level, man, at every level, and he's always stayed humble. He's always stayed tried and true.
At Alabama, his first couple years, he looked like dog shit. He looked like a running back playing quarterback. And then he went to Lincoln Riley, who's the quarterback whisperer. He could make us Heisman candidates. But
I think
phenomenal. I can't even.
Let's try not to talk about Spencer Rattler too early on this podcast. Lincoln Riley, Spencer Rattler. I have a really bad feeling, Rio. We're going to be talking about quarterbacks in this draft class a lot sooner rather than later. But let's focus on Thursday night.
Don't say it.
Let's focus on Thursday night. They're retiring Bobby Mitchell's number. That's going to be a cool thing to see live. Giants are currently 4-point underdogs against the football team, even without Ryan Fitzpatrick. Didn't really see that coming. Yeah, but this offensive line for the Giants, as you said, it's an absolute joke. Von Miller in his return game after COVID just stomped him down for last year, racking up 2 sacks, and this Denver Broncos defense just had their way with Daniel Jones. Kadarius Toney had a very similar debut to De'Ami Brown, -2 yards. Not much of a sign from Kenny Golladay. Saquon, at least to me, Rio, and I'll get to you in a second, didn't exactly look 100%. And Daniel Jones is going to do Daniel Jones shit. So how do you feel about the matchup Thursday night overall, and how do you think the Washington football team fares up against the also 0-1 Giants?
I'll tell you what, if Heinicke don't want to go back to school, he better fucking ball out because I just saw pedestrian ass Teddy Two Gloves look like prime Peyton Manning versus them yesterday. And he's like literally the most unappealing quarterback possibly to watch in the league. There's no reason that we don't win this game. Honestly, we should win the game handedly, which is a wild ass statement considering that we both looked like shit yesterday. But we owe these fuckers. They've beat us 3 years in a row. Daniel Jones has like 4 wins in his life, and they're like all versus us. Like, he doesn't beat anyone else in the NFL but us. This shit has to come to an end because I don't want to know what life is going to be like in D.C. on Twitter if we go 0-2 with Buffalo, Atlanta, New Orleans up next, and then we run into the GOATs. I don't want to know. I fear for Ron Rivera and them if we start 0-2 at home going to Buffalo in week 3 because that's an 0-3 start.
I don't think about it, Rio, because I don't even want to believe that it's possible, if that makes sense. I don't even want to think that we could possibly start off that bad after this offseason, the additions, just everything in general, just a culmination of
positivity and optimism, like
how it could all just burn out in 2 weeks. I don't even want to believe it. In fact, I'm going to go on record and say I guarantee that the Wash football team wins this game. I have the Wash football team. I almost got a little ahead of myself. Almost got a little bit too ahead of myself. Of course, this is brought to you by PrizePicks. For our PrizePick pick of the week, use promo code SSNWFT for a 100% instant deposit bonus match for up to $100. It is not you versus the player. It is you versus the projection. Bring us our PrizePick pick of the week. I have the Wash football team winning this one, and I'm guaranteeing a win here on Thursday night. It's not good because I'm going to be there. It's not going to be because we're going to be having fun in the red zone line. The morale is going to be up. And Heinicke, throw all that aside. The Wash football team is a well-coached team. The Wash football team has a great roster, the best roster in the NFC East. And I don't think I hate anybody in the NFC East more than I hate the Giants, and we owe them this one. So I have the defense coming out, showing up, getting to Daniel Jones early and often 24-11. So, Rio, what is your pick of the week brought to you by PrizePicks?
Brought to you by PrizePicks. Oh, I thought it was brought to you by Parker Football Focus, you know?
Oh, my God.
The new PFF.
I like that. I actually like that.
That was dope. Parker Football Focus. No, but this is the Code Red game. Shout out to Jay Gruden. We have to win this game. I can't imagine life for any of us if we start 0-2 because then the Spencer Rattler Sam Howell conversation start happening because we look at the schedule and we say, okay, it's just the schedule. But when you lose 2 very winnable games on the schedule and you're looking down that list with Josh Allen,
I'm regretting my Jameis take. I'm regretting my Jameis take.
Oh, yeah. We could definitely talk about that Jameis shit sometime soon because I literally saw on Facebook today someone say, y'all hyping this shit out this Jameis Winston game. Heinicke could do that same thing. I was like, listen, sir, I've never seen a Redskins quarterback, Washington football team quarterback throw for 5 touchdowns. Please miss me with that bullshit. I don't want to hear it.
That's it.
Oh,
Kirk.
my God. Oh my. Did he ever throw for 5 in a game? I think he threw for 4. I don't think he's ever thrown for 5. I don't know if I've witnessed one of our quarterbacks throw for 5 touchdowns in a game. With that, we need to pick that. Okay, but my pick for the week is Washington 24, New York 13. That's what I'm going with. It's not going to be pretty at all. Heinicke's going to give us a couple touchdowns. Gibson's going to right his wrongs from that dumbass fumble and get in the end zone. 24-13, 3 turnovers from Daniel Jones, 2 turnovers from us, a Heinicke fumble, and an interception. 2 turnovers from him, but he does enough to get the job done. Please, God, don't let us lose this game.
And we owe them one is certainly the biggest sentiment going into this week's matchup. But after how week 1 went for both teams, NFC East implications, I know it's going to be a long time to the last 5-game stretch, but we just can't let Daniel Jones keep doing this to the Washington football team. I mean, we're like the laughing stock. The only time this guy's ever looked like the number 6 overall pick is against the Washington football team. I mean, you saw the tape. I saw the tape. He looked as pedestrian as they come against Denver. He made Teddy Bridgewater look like an elite quarterback, and that's definitely saying something. And this offensive line with Andrew Thomas is just sloppy, Rio. And look, I know it's kind of
It's
becoming a
terrible.
thing where we like to hype up our defense and kind of give them a little bit more credit than they deserve sometimes, but it's simply going to be too much for the Giants to handle. It is. And Heinicke is going to make
so.
Go ahead.
I hope so, because if they don't eat versus this O-line,
I mean, then this top. I mean, you need to knock them out of the top 10 if you don't at least come into this game with 4 or 5 sacks. And we all know Daniel Jones can't hold on the football to save his life. So, like I said, I may be a little biased here, speaking as a fan, but at the end of the day, we are a better team, better football team, no pun intended, than the New York Giants, and I have us coming out on top here.
Agreed.
Rah, all bullshit aside. And, I'm not going to picture a world where we start 0-2 because I refuse to believe it, and I feel like they've done enough in the offseason, everything to accumulate for us to come in here, get a very much needed win so the RG3, Cam Newtons, all those conversations can finally die out because it's week 2. It's too early for that shit, people. But like I said, PrizePicks pick of the week brought to you. Of course, promo code SSNWFT, 100% instant deposit bonus matchup for $100. I don't see a 5-touchdown game for Kirk, by the way. I've been kind of looking this whole time.
Hey, I'm not sure if I've ever seen a 5-touchdown game for one of our quarterbacks. That's why I said it.
If it was anybody, it was him. That's about the only person I would even give a shot in that conversation. But, looking forward to Thursday, man. I've kind of already put this loss behind us. You got a lot of people in the fan base kind of taking this rough. Everybody, show out Thursday. Tailgate, me and Rio are going to be there. We're going to have a blast. Let's get the morale up high. It's week 2. We still got a lot of football left. 16 games, a full season last year left for the Washington football team. I know it looks dismal. I know we can't quite get the quarterback position right. I know everybody's at each other's necks fighting under toilet water. But let's just rally together like the team's going to rally around Taylor and really try to make the best of this. Because at the end of the day, this is a good team. We do have a leader leading the football team. And he has shown us that it is a marathon, not a sprint. So kind of some things to keep in mind to not hit that panic button a little bit too early. I'd honestly, Rio, I'd rather lose week 1 and kind of see what we need to work on rather than go on some little fool's goal winning streak where we think we're a lot better than we are. So I think we kind of got what makes us human out there and out of the way. And I feel like this is something they can address at Ashburn and kind of coach all this stuff out.
I hope so.
But yeah, I mean, Thursday.
So, but we're going to be there Thursday. You're going to be there too Thursday.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes. I hate that I missed Sunday. Well, I don't hate it, but so much after seeing everything unfolded. But I'm very, very excited. First Thursday night game. Is this your first Thursday night game as well?
Yeah, this is my – oh, no. I've been there on Thursday night before. It was terrible. We had played the Giants, and Kirk threw like 5 interceptions. It was really bad.
Okay. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
It's my first tailgate. It's my first Thursday night tailgate.
And we got a little 7-on-7 action coming up for us WFT pods, if I'm not mistaken. So I think I'll probably run like slot receiver.
I'm about to say I'm running all-time quarterback because I'm not in the shape for that right now. I'm not about to get on the IR in the parking lot.
No, too early in the year for that. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have today here at the Sidelines Washington Podcast. Of course, I'm the head of NFL operations here at the Sidelines Sports Network. You or anyone you know is interested in covering your favorite team for one of the fastest rising sports networks in the world, make sure you email me at sidelines_WFT@gmail.com or send me a DM on social media at Parker Hamlett. But, as Rio said, come chill out with us on Thursday. Looking forward to it. Rio, tell everybody the latest with Raw Talk, man. I saw you just hit 700 subscribers.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it, man. We're 300 away from that to that first goal of 1,000 subscribers. God, I'm fucking up right now. But we're doing it, man. Rambling with Rio Robinson, the YouTube channel. Rambling about Washington, the podcast. I'm working on cutting up this 1,000-hour vlog. I'm trying to get it to a concise amount, like 30 minutes, so I can post that tomorrow. Big Doug coming on for the recap, and then I'm going to preview the game with the Big Blue All Year podcast. And I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get with Parker and all my guys back in the red zone lot. The vibes were immaculate. Please, nobody come to fight Parker. It's all good vibes in the red zone lot. We're not taking numbers. We're not on that shit because we need to do better as a fan base. We're not going to fight each other. If anything else, fight some New York. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to fight anyone.
Don't do that either.
All good vibes at FedEx. All good vibes at FedEx. Don't drink too much and enjoy the goddamn football game. I'm out.
Hell yeah. See you guys Thursday. This is the SSN signing off. Peace.